This is LoveChoice. It's a visual novel, but it's unlike any visual novel I've ever played. Most games in this genre seem to focus on escapism. They give you comfort for a few hours at most, but after it's over, you feel empty inside again. LoveChoice is different because it doesn't try to gratify you right away. Instead, it teaches you about the realities of love. I haven't been in many relationships, but I was in one very long one, and it taught me a lot about my partner and myself. I learned that sometimes, loving someone else can be the best way to find your own happiness, but doing so means setting aside your desires, insecurities, and trauma. I learned how easy it is to hurt someone you love, and how hard it can be to win back their trust. And I learned that sometimes, the right thing to do is let someone go. I have never played a game that talks about this stuff until I played LoveChoice. It's not a perfect game, but it has so much to say about love and relationships in a world that seems to teach the wrong lessons over and over again. If you struggle with dating, with loneliness, or with romance in general, you should play LoveChoice. And I'm gonna tell you why.
In the first story, the main idea is to share something that you will go through with your partner if you are in a long-term relationship. I actually go through some of it with my
Yeah.
partner, and I think most of us and most of my friends go through something like that in their relationships.
If I'm being honest, when I first started playing LoveChoice, I wasn't sure if I would like it. The main character of the first story is kind of a piece of garbage. He's self-centered, unsupportive, and can't back down from an argument. This scene in particular stands out to me. The two lovers are sitting on opposite sides of the room, and the main character is repeating the same awkward, unhelpful replies that he sent over text a few years ago. He's insufferable, and he almost made me quit the game. I remember thinking to myself that the MC kept doing the exact opposite of what he should, to the point where it was almost comical, as if the writer was making a how not to do it guide to dating. The MC seemed to embody all the worst traits of men in relationships. He had poor communication, a judgmental attitude, and seemed blind to his partner's emotional needs. And I remember realizing that he was more than just annoying. In a twisted way, he reminded me of myself. When I was in high school, I was in my first long-term relationship. I screwed it up pretty badly. I had a crippling, untreated depression, and I kept projecting my negative emotions onto my partner. And when it was my turn to give her emotional support, I did a really bad job. I never helped her open up or find words for her feelings. When I think back to those days, I want to grab my younger self by the shoulders and yell at him to get his act together. And that's how I felt watching the MC of LoveChoice make the same mistakes I did a full decade ago. The only thing that could save this, I thought, would be if the author somehow turned it into a commentary on how terrible the MC was, and show how he could do the right thing instead. But I figured this would go the same way as every trashy rom-com or dating sim out there. The man would stay his narcissistic, intolerable self, the girl would fall for him anyway, and they'd get together without ever addressing his underlying problems. I was so ready to rip into this game for depicting love in such an unrealistic and unhelpful way, but then something magical happened. Final spoiler warning, I'm about to reveal the big plot twist of Story 1, so this is your last chance to pause and experience it for yourself. Seriously, if you want the experience to be unspoiled, go buy the game on Steam and play it. It's like $2, just do it. Really, last chance, okay? I'm doing it, I'm spoiling. When I tried to move on to the next story, it said I needed to see both endings of the first one to move on, and I was kind of confused because there weren't any real decision points where I felt like I could change the story. I could pick a different movie or a different place to eat, but neither of those seemed to affect the ending. Now I was intrigued, so I looked at a guide on Steam. See this painting on the first screen? It said, instead of picking a dialogue option, click on that. And clicking the painting reveals a completely new conversation. Usually on the first screen, the MC awkwardly approaches the only girl at the game jam, kind of making small talk but clearly trying to get in her pants. But by clicking the painting, the two of them instead have a really nice talk about the theme of the game jam and what it means to them. I didn't really think you could approach someone in that setting and not make it weird, but the new MC kind of pulled it off. It turns out that every screen has a little mini-puzzle, and every solution turns the MC from a self-centered jerk into a kind, empathetic human. Remember that scene from earlier with the two lovers on opposite sides of the room? The solution to that puzzle is to click and drag the MC closer to his girlfriend, and he'll give her a hug and empathize with her problems. I was stunned. It was as if the game had read my mind and made the MC do exactly what I wanted him to do, exactly what I would have done. It was as if by magic all the mistakes of my youth were being corrected before my eyes. If you get all the mini puzzles right, you get the first story's good ending. Instead of a breakup letter, the girl sends you a letter about your ups and downs together and wanting to stay with you. And I have to say, I was really impressed. In the span of about 20 minutes, LoveChoice taught a lesson that took me actual honest-to-God years to learn by myself. How to be kind. Kindness isn't about saying the magic words that will make someone like you. Kindness is about understanding another person's world and finding where you fit into it. Kindness is about setting aside your previous beliefs and assumptions and truly immersing yourself in another person's reality. When I first started playing LoveChoice, I wasn't sure if I would like it. But now, after hearing what the game had to say, I was hooked.
The first story is, just think out of the box. But if the player get the idea, just think out of the box, the game just turning into a, point and click game. So the second chapter, there's only one option there. The option is just letting it go.
I went into the second story expecting a cute new couple and more cute interactable mini puzzles, and that's exactly what I got. But the game also took on a darker and more somber tone. You see, most dating sims are organized to be very convenient. All the characters live nearby each other and have shared interests and hobbies. But the reality of love is often very inconvenient. Compatible people are separated by time or distance or the natural courses of their lives. The experience of the second story is watching two childhood friends drift further and further apart. They cling to each other with meandering phone calls, but they never seem to connect fully. In the first story, each mini puzzle brings the couple closer together. In the second, each solution feels like an act of desperation. The story culminates on this heart-wrenching, sickening screen. Like before, we can choose between ending the relationship with the text box below or saving it with the interactions above. But every interaction leads to dialogue where the MC tries to guilt-trip his girlfriend, making her feel worse and worse for leaving him behind. Eventually, she crumbles, promising to return to China and give up on chasing her dreams. I felt horrible seeing this ending. I kinda get where the MC is coming from. When you love someone, it's hard to watch them leave. But seeing this girl so heartbroken, watching the light inside her be extinguished, it was painful. I thought about the end of my relationship, how we both knew it was over, but we couldn't bring ourselves to end it. After spending so many years together, we couldn't imagine life without each other, but at the same time, our conflicts had become unbearable. In the end, she left me, and she did the right thing. If LoveChoice's first story is about holding on to someone, the second is about letting them go. If you ever mess up and click on the option to end the call, you get the bad ending where the characters drift out of each other's lives. But this ending feels much better. Both characters achieve everything they want to do, and there's still a chance that they'll reconnect another day. This is a genius subversion of the first game and of the dating sim formula in general. For once, letting the girl go leads to the best possible outcome. I've always wanted to see a love story that says you can be happy without happily ever after, and LoveChoice pulled it off. When I interviewed the developer of LoveChoice, he told me that the second story was inspired by his time in Japan, during which he and his then girlfriend were in a long-distance relationship too. I wondered what those 2 years must have been like. Years of quiet devotion, of yearning, of wondering if things would work out. After 2 years, Aiden returned to China and married his partner, and they're still happily together today. I'm a little less lucky. My old flame isn't coming back, and I don't even really want her to. But it's okay. It's better for us to be apart and achieve our dreams alone. Okay, at this point I spoiled most of the best stuff about LoveChoice and I feel kind of bad, so I'm not going to spoil part 3. And in a way, it's kind of fitting. The theme of part 3 is trust, and how if you never trust your partner, they can never surprise you with how much they love you. So in that spirit, I'm going to ask you to trust me. LoveChoice is really good, and you should play it. I've told you 2/3 of the reasons why, but I can't tell you the last one because, well, it'll ruin it. So just take my word for it, and play it for yourself. All in all, I'm really glad I played LoveChoice. I've been kind of struggling with love and dating since high school, and I'm not gonna lie, part of me has considered taking a vow of celibacy and living in the mountains with the monks or whatever. But LoveChoice reminded me what it's like to be in love, and despite how much work it is and how much pain it can put you through, I think it's worth it. At the end of LoveChoice, you can choose 2 names to enter for the final screen. Oh, I hate that. I agonized over this a little. I know it didn't really mean anything, but in the moment, the gesture felt like a big commitment. Don't say anything. Don't tell her. Please, for the love of God, just leave me alone. I am extremely painfully aware of how much it hurts when love ends badly, and frankly, I do not know how many more times I'm ready to go through that. But when I think about LoveChoice and Aiden and his wife, and high school and Teardrop Park and how it felt to hold her hand, just one more time. Just one more try. Okay, I know no one likes the ending CTA, so I'll keep it short. Please subscribe for the love of God, I need the validation. Also, I have a Patreon with bonus exclusive content, including the full interview with a LoveChoice dev, link in the description. Or, if you're confused and upset by the Patreon UI, you can now also join as a YouTube member for the same videos. Either way, you'll also get access to a Discord where I'm active all the time, and you can ask me questions and request video topics and stuff. Okay, that's all. Sorry, catch you next time.